Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be talking to you about black companies. In Japanese it's called a black kigyo. What is it? What do they look like? And also my opinion on these types of companies. So I'll be going over 5 aspects of black companies: unpaid overtime, overworking employees, exploiting young workers, high staff turnover, and harassment and bullying. So those are 5 main points I'll be talking to you about this video, and at the end I'll give you my opinion about this all. So that's what I'll be talking about. Before that, like, subscribe, connect with me on LinkedIn, and there's also a Discord link as well, so you can chat to me and other engineers in Japan. And if you have an experience in one of these types of black companies, please let me know in the description your experience or maybe something you've heard, and I'd like to hear your point of view on this. So I just asked ChatGPT to define what a black company is. I think us devs or us workers in Japan kind of know what one is, but we can't explain every single point. So I'm going to tell you what ChatGPT says. A black company, black kigyo, in Japan refers to a business that exploits its workers through various unethical and illegal practices. These companies often force employees to work excessively long hours with little to no compensation or overtime, provide poor working conditions, and create a hostile work environment that may include harassment or bullying. That's the ChatGPT's explanation of definition of what black kigyo is, and it kind of sounds like that to me. That's what I understand. And I've been in Japan since 2010, so these kind of conversations do come up quite often in all industries, not just IT. But in today's video, I'm going to specifically talk about the IT industry, which I've been in since 2016-ish, 2016. And one of the reasons I would like to, my opinion or my view of this might be different to others, is I've only worked in Japanese companies, and for the past 5 years or so, I've been a freelance engineer. Web developer, sorry, not engineer. Sorry, guys. Yeah. And so why that is important is that every 6 months, I change companies with my project I'm working on. And in every 6 months, then I can see how each company works. And I can see, I'll give you my take on the end about all of this. And remember, I'm a foreigner, so that's my experience as a foreigner and one guy on the internet, one guy on the YouTube. So please tell me your experience or what you know in the description comment area, So number 1 is unpaid overtime. The reason this is interesting, because in many contracts in Japan, I'm not sure about other industries, but with IT work, is that you have your main hours, your 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month. And then your overtime is included in your contract. So usually in your contract, and I don't think these are negotiable, and these are quite common, is that if you want to get paid over, you're basically giving them 40 hours a month extra. So if you pass your 40 hours overtime in that month, based on your contract, once you pass those 40 hours overtime, then you get paid your bonus. You get paid overtime. It sounds really strange. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. So you understand what that means is that even if I work 10 hours extra every week, I still won't get paid for those 10 hours, because in the contract it says I'm basically giving away 40 hours overtime. So what happens now is that some people really work hard, or let's say they keep their seat warm over the 40 hours for that month. Let's say they go 60 hours, they want that 20 hours of pay extra. And in these types of black companies is that they won't give you those 20 hours. It's bad enough you went over 40. Now you're 60 hours overtime, and you probably won't get that 20-hour extra. They'll find a way to, they'll try something. So that's why the overtime, unpaid overtime is kind of a crazy thing. The next one is overworking employees. This is quite an interesting idea now, is that because if you're in a company where it's commonly overworking people, and you're also not getting paid overtime, there is little incentive to work harder for some people. But for then you'd have to leave it to the other guys to work harder. So you kind of, it's hard to, and you can't fire people. I mean, there's going to be guys in the going, oh, we fire people. Come on, you know what I mean. You don't really fire the CEOs I know. I'm just saying, hey, maybe I don't know anyone. So look, I'm just trying to say. So I was freelancing, and then I'll give you an example. There's this guy. He's also freelancing. On the weekends, we'll go out for drinks, and he seems fine at work. But once you go for a drink, he starts crying. Yeah, he's a grown man. He's crying. Why? Because he has worked. He is just, every time we drink, he would cry like, if this company is trash. It was a Japanese guy. He's speaking Japanese, of course. He can't speak English. And he'll just go off at how bad the company is, how bad they overwork him. But the catch here, the thing here now is, the silly thing for him is that he still works there. He didn't quit. So people work. There are a lot of workers here. They overwork and they don't do anything about it. And I think that's what I've seen quite a bit around. And it's because they feel safe in the company. They're going to get paid no matter. They're always going to get paid. And there's also like a loyalty thing as well in Japan. I mean, there's always guys like, oh, but this guy. Come on, just trust me. I'm an expert. I'll give you my case when I was working for one of these companies. And I don't know if it's a black company, but I'm just saying it has traits of a black company. So all these things I'm going to tell you today, one company may have one or two things like that. Another company might have one thing, and one company might have all of those things, all of those issues when you're working for them. I was working in one company, and they would give me just non-stop work. I was in charge of full stack deployment, full stack application, front end and back end. They tried to make me do the whole thing, and I said, this is crazy. Then they had to get some offshore devs, and even then I had to get my hands dirty on everything, and I have to manage the whole thing. And I was only getting paid 40 a month for that. And I was working late hours most nights. And when I look back, and this was in my earlier years of freelancing, that was quite terrible. But I do remember my first job. It was a great the job was great. I can't complain. The overwork as well, I think it's also a skill issue. Some people like me, soy devs, when I went first into the industry, I was given pretty heavy tasks. And I was in my first year. That was my first, I studied by myself for 1 year. Okay. And then when I went to that company, I was given some really heavy D3JS dashboard tasks. And I'll be honest, I appreciate that I got those hard years of work, because I was sleeping like 3 a.m. every night, trying to catch up on all this web development or front end SVG manipulation. And that was a hard task. But the point of overworking employees is that in many cases, the person's probably not qualified for that position. And that was my case, my first few years. So that can also be an issue as well. They just get some guy who knows how to code or program, and they go, make this or do this. And then, geez, this person's working their ass off. That's my experience for overworking employees. But I took it on the chin, I'm tough as nails like that. The next one is exploitation of young workers. And I've seen this a lot lately. And I'm 37. And when I do some of these projects, I can see some young guys, they're really trying to prove their point, right? And when they prove their point, because, they're kohai, they're senpai, they're really scared of doing the wrong thing. You can see them, on Slack, or you can see the activity. You can see these kids are up late every night. And, I'm 37. I'm like, no, I've done that. You see what happens now? So the adults kind of expect, because I did it, you should do it too. And I've seen that quite a bit lately, which is why, okay, this is going to sound a bit bad. I don't want to work too much around young guys, because they're all trying to prove themselves, and they're trying to like, oh yeah, man, I'm like not one up, but you know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, look at this. And it's like, no, just chill out, man. It's all good. We're going to get this done, but just, you don't have to, you know what I mean? Some guys know, but that's just my experience. And that's usually comes from the wagey side of young devs from my experience. And these are all my experiences is not English speaking companies, so just keep that in mind. So another one is a black company has high staff turnover, and you can search this up on Google whenever you want to apply for a Japanese job. Let alone when you apply for an English speaking job, you can usually see Glassdoor or something. I think people give their takes on that company. Japan has the same thing, so always Google, do some research on that company in Japan beforehand. But yeah, high staff turnover. But in general, people don't get fired, but they do quit. They do quit from the exploitation of working, the overtime work not being paid, and so forth. I'll give you one story. I've got a lot of stories, right? Because I've worked at all these types of companies. One guy was writing a React Native. He was filling in the part of a React Native engineer. They already have a service and application out, and he was working late nights every night. And to be honest, I don't know his skill level. I don't know the story or background, but all I know is that I was told by someone else that he would come late, and sometimes he would even sleep at the office because he can't make the last train. And that type of work with anyone, I mean, any country, would make you want to quit. But he didn't. And what happened is his mother came to the company. I guess he's living at home, a young guy. His mother came to the company and blasted them. And I think that she told him he has to quit because this company's making him unhealthy. And I think he was going mental maybe. And this stuff happens, right? And it's not that the manager's an evil guy. Don't think like, oh, he's an evil guy, he wants to destroy this guy's life. No. It's just bad practices in business in some cases. Well, I'll go over that at the end of my take on all the stuff. But people quit after getting hammered. So it's or maybe some people just quit because they found a better deal. The last point here is harassment and bullying, and I think I have a video on this, and I'll link it here or somewhere, whatever. And it was a French national who, I think he's French national, who was kind of bullied out of his company. So it's connected with the high staff turnover, quitting. He was bullied to quit his company. So this kind of bully thing, I want to quickly touch base on this, and it's I'm speaking in English, so chances are you're from a Western country or you have studied English. And the reason this is important is there are some cultural things that Westerners look at and get, oh, why are they doing that? Why don't you just do it like us? They kind of, the Western mind is the correct way. Like this is always, right? This is the correct way. We are correct all the time. Vietnam, no, you're not correct. What is it? China, no. Western people, correct. North Americans, So I don't want to go too hard on North Americans. I always dish you guys. You guys are awesome. So things like that, and also passive aggression. You can't just be aggressive. You got to find another way to get your point across or make that kohai or worker respect you. And okay, this is all if you're passive aggressive in my books, that's beta, and that's the Western mind here, right? If you have a problem, you tell me, let me know straight. But that's the Western mind. In Asia, they don't. It's a bit. I mean, of course, if you're maybe from Osaka or something, you tell straight. But when you're working in Tokyo or maybe like northern Japan, maybe it's a lot more of this finding other ways to assert dominance. Not all cases. Look, I'm not saying this is everyone, but this is just a cultural trait which I've seen or which I've understood. Okay, I don't have a degree in passive aggression in Asian cultures, but it seems to work in many cases, keeping harmony in society and so forth. So that's what I just want to say about bullying and harassment. I can't say too much about the harassment between male and female. It's not my stuff, my thing to talk about. But anyway, that's the general 5 points that you kind of can distinguish what a black company is. And this is I made a video just before of maybe 2 videos ago on zombie companies, and zombie companies are quite the focus point is quite different, right? Zombie companies being that it's in the red and it's just not turning a profit, but somehow from investments or bank handouts, the company is existing. And the black companies, the 5 points I just gave you now. So they are just focusing on different parts of, let's say, companies in the shithole. My opinion on all these points, not that it matters. Just skip to the outro if you are just skip the video now if you don't really care. So, like I said, the whole Western, I'm a Western mindset. I'm so correct, and how the society should function. That is these are not, I'm not saying any of this is easy fixes, but maybe there's some really smart, there's really cool, smart North Americans in LinkedIn who will tell you, hey, you got to fix it this way. You got to fix it. What they do in Silicon Valley, I don't think there's a way to fix this. I'm not even thinking, should I fix it? You see what I mean now? So this is my mindset of it, is that after seeing all of this, I just think, it is what it is, man. This is the way it is here. And if you don't like it, just go to the English-speaking companies. You can't force a culture to change based on your ideologies, the way you think. Oh, you can? Okay, well, yeah, you of course you can, but whatever. Which is why whenever I leave a project or company, I'm never giving advice. I'm not even one of the companies I tried to work again. I tried to become a wagey again for 6 months or so, and I just thought, this is like just this absolute mess I'm in. This place is a mess. Not that bad, but if you've been working for a certain amount of time, you just expect things to be a certain way. I mean, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But the point being is that the HR asked me, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? And I thought, I'm a web developer. I'm not going to tell you how to run your company, because if I told you, if I were to run this company, I would fire a lot of people. I would change a lot of things. This would not be, you would not feel this is Japan. You would feel, what the hell is this guy doing? And that is the point, which I think that's the end of the point. The main point of this all is that you can't expect countries to, well, what am I just beating a dead horse? Is that the thing? I'm just saying the same thing over again, is that I'm not expecting any of these companies to be Western progressive, right? I just don't. And I'm just going to make the product. As an engineer, I'm going to you have milestones, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to argue with the manager. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'll give my opinion. We don't need to use Next.js for this project. We can just use normal Next.js. That's my opinion. He goes, oh, but I really want to use Next. Okay. You want to use Next.js? Hey, that's on you, man. We'll see what happens in 6 months. 6 months comes over. Oh, I see. I was right, but I'm not going to say I was right. So that's just my voice on all this. But okay, the final one here is this is the most important part of this video for junior engineers or just engineers who want to come to Japan and get their foot through the door. If you want to get your foot through the door, you just got to get a job first. Get the job, get the visa, that's it. I don't care if it's a black company, if it's a zombie company. I don't care if you have to do exercises in the morning. I don't care if you have to sing the company song every morning. Whatever you got to do, just get your foot through the door, through immigration, get their work visa, and then that's your first goal. You're gonna, who cares about anything else, black, whatever. Okay, so that's it for me.